Shut up and sit down.
Hey guys,
Cardinals look great. Bring her in.
I'm gonna share my screen and then call her down. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Host disabled. Hey, can you enable screen sharing?
Yeah, I gotta allow you to do it. I'm the. All right, let's see. Advanced sharing options. All participants, you are now able to share your screen.
Cool.
What a privilege.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Oh, we got a PowerPoint this time.
All right.
I do have to throw in that some other prick worked with this prick that's showing this stuff to help him do that, but he didn't do this fancy graphics. That's very nice, Joe. I take it there's a little Leah in that presentation.
What's that?
I think there's a little Leah possibly in this presentation.
Very little, actually.
Look
Come
at
on
Joe,
now, we're
tech
ready.
savvy.
Crosby, no. Come around, get up on Dad's lap. Come here.
I'm disappointed since I had queued it up. I should have played it myself.
You got to show the guys.
Oh,
my gosh.
check it out!
Whoa!
Show them. That's Kate. Kate's wearing a dress.
Oh my
Those
gosh!
guys, all
Hey,
get
hey.
up.
Hey,
Whoa!
Hadley, I gotta ask. Did you like the music I added?
Hey! Uncle John asked you something. Did you like the music that he added to the video last week when you came down the stairs? The princess music.
Ooh.
You know
He
the
doesn't
princess
remember.
music.
That's
you
typical
listened to
3
last
year
week.
old.
You liked it, I know.
Thank you. Good deal. Glad to hear it.
She
Good
really,
music.
actually, I would say love was probably more.
But you know, like
would be
any
more appropriate.
like any
Okay,
kid,
baby,
2 seconds later they forget
I'm
about
gonna
that.
show you-
That was then. This is now.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna show you 2 pictures, and you just pick one, okay? You pick the one you like the most. All right, here we go.
All right.
You ready? First one, Hadley. Look. Okay. Do you like the bull, or do you like the big black bird?
Bull.
You like the bull?
All right.
What is it with you and the bull, man? All right.
Liked it last time too.
Well, yeah, she's kind of stuck on the bull. I don't, you know. Who knows?
Can't
All
question
right.
it. I love it.
Maybe you should change the bull picture next time. Do it
I think so.
a meaner looking bull.
Okay. Do you choose the wolf or the lightning bolt?
The wolf.
The wolf. Okay.
Woo!
Scary.
Finally, yeah, the wolf looks good, doesn't he? Say go Chiefs. Or no.
Don't do it.
Okay.
He's gonna say go Houston.
I'm a
Right.
I'm gonna say go Dolphins. That's your favorite team.
Princesses don't say go Chiefs. Well, they should.
They shouldn't.
Do you like the Bengal tiger or the puppy dog?
Why be the puppy dog?
Crosby is a puppy dog. Yeah.
Try to choose the puppy dog.
Choose a puppy dog. Okay.
I like what you're thinking. Good choice, there,
yes.
All
Hadley.
right, that is a good choice.
I think that's your special pick of the week.
it could
Puppy
be.
dogs.
It could be. Okay. Do you like
Whoa.
the Saint or do you like the Raider?
See, I know it's hard, Hadley, because they're both mean
Yeah,
looking.
they're both kind of
They're both
scary.
pretty ugly.
None of
aren't
them are cute or cuddly, so it makes it
I
difficult.
don't know which one's the obvious.
they? All right. Well, just pick one.
Pick one you like the
Which
least.
one?
The,
You want the Raider?
I like
The one with spikes in his head? Okay, the Raider.
the
All right. And finally, do you like the Seahawk or the man?
The Patriot.
The
He's a
Patriot.
patriot.
He's a Patriot.
He's
Yeah,
very
apparently.
American.
You gotta give him his.
I like the man.
You like the Patriot?
Yeah. He's a
Okay.
beautiful man.
John, did you get those?
I got him.
Okay. Hadley Grace, way to go on your picks. High five.
Fantastic.
You're so beautiful. Look at that dress. Look at the hairband. Did you guys
Fantastic.
notice the earrings? Look at the earrings.
Yeah. Wow.
She looks the part. You
She got
absolutely
Absolutely.
all
look like a
giddied up
princess.
for
this
this
time.
one, didn't she?
We love it.
Absolutely.
I want to look like you.
You want to dress up like me?
Yeah, you can escape.
I'm kind of scared. Well, yes, I have a bag on my head. because I'm a little ashamed of my
Bag.
performance, but
I have the bag on his head.
I do. Okay, can you tell these guys See you next week.
You need to stop sharing, Joe, so we can see her
Yeah,
in
stop
full,
sharing your screen.
Oh yeah,
full
hold on, hold on, hold
size,
on. Yeah.
full
Let me get
size
down
glory. The
What's
actual
that?
princess.
In
You
all
see
her
her
glory.
in all her full size princess glory.
Yeah.
No, stop sharing.
Stop
It's
sharing
that
the screen.
special. That
Oh.
special button that says stop sharing. We don't
Yes,
care.
I know.
We don't care about your PowerPoint.
There we
We
go.
want to
Thank
see.
you. Yes,
We
I
want to see
do.
Hadley. Hey,
Okay,
Hey, Hadley. What do you think of Daddy and his nice new hat? His 0-3 hat.
His
tell
nice little
Uncle
bag.
John what you think
His nice bag.
Think a lot.
of my hat. Do you like
His
the
bag.
on
Do you like
the
his?
back of
Do
his
you
head?
like his mask? His bag on his head. Does he look better that way?
Hey, that's
Is he
not
much more
right.
handsome?
No.
Was it? This is PGA 13, but was Leah making suggestive recommendations based on the bag, Joe?
Yeah, she said I look cuter. The snot.
He's a cuter.
Nice.
I'm a cuter.
You are
Right.
much more
Stand
clean
up so
shaven
everybody
that
can
way.
see.
You got
And stand up.
like a perfectly smooth face.
Yep. Here,
No
show
double.
him
Yeah.
Kate. Show him Kate.
Kate is
Okay.
awesome.
Yep. Kate's dressed
Kate-
up.
Kate
Dressed to the
The whole
part.
9 yards. She wanted to come down and flash it tonight
Fantastic.
That's
on her second week on
we
the show.
expect it. Tell Daddy to have a red carpet out next time and to
Yeah.
have that princess music playing in the
I'm not gonna
background,
put a
so I
red
don't have
carpet
to
on
add
my
it.
head. They want me to put one coming down the stairs.
We demand the red carpet.
Yes.
You do look beautiful, though, I will say.
Who does?
Next week will be a different outfit. Are you going to wear a different outfit next week?
No.
No?
Hadley, you are
That one's
single-handedly gaining viewers for us, so keep it up.
I know.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Say, you're welcome, Uncle John. Oh, are you going to? Oh, if you're going to pound,
Everybody loves you on the show.
All right, well, look
Very
at the camera
clear.
and talk
Yeah,
to
the
Uncle
fan
John.
favorite.
Or we're going to go.
What Uncle John?
He's on the screen. This guy right here. And that's
Do I look
Cousin
that
Evan
different?
right up there.
Remember, I'm the guy with the playground and the swimming pool and the
He's
lake.
talking to you. Can you answer his questions?
What was the question?
Oh. Speak up, Uncle John.
I said, I'm the guy with the dogs, the swimming pool, the playground, and the lake.
Yeah. we
Don't
went to
remember? And the little boy called Kane?
Kane.
Remember
You
Kane?
played with Kane for a week.
I don't know.
You remember that? Yeah. That was awesome. It was a
We
really
went
good-
swimming in the lake. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and Evan was the guy that you saw in Vegas.
That was a long time ago.
Oh, this guy right here. You remember
Oh,
this
look who
guy?
it is.
Hey, get
There
over
he
here.
is.
Say
Who
hi
is
to
he?
Hadley.
Where is
Kane. Kane, he's hiding now for some reason. Kane, come say hi to Hadley
Oh,
before she
Kane,
goes.
Come here.
Game.
Big
Kane,
Kano.
she's calling for you.
Game.
Oh
Kane,
my
she wants to
God.
say hi.
Oh, is he being shy?
I don't.
Low camera shot.
Hadley.
It's Hadley. Come see me.
Hadley.
Yes.
Here, I'm turning it to my headset or off my headset. Come on, Kane, come say hi real quick.
Yeah.
He's
Say hello.
hiding under my chair. Get out of there.
It's
He's hiding
Hadley.
under your chair.
It's
I
Hadley.
guess he doesn't want to say hi to Hadley.
I
I guess
Hey,
so.
say goodnight to everybody. Say, see you next week, guys.
There he is. Say hi.
Okay.
And there's Mommy.
Go on.
Wave bye.
Okay. She doesn't like to leave that hand wave, boy. She loves it. You got to go to bed. It's bedtime.
Yes, he does. So my daughter just asked, Lindsay goes, does Joe have a bag on his head?
He does. Yep. He certainly does. Hi, Kano. I see his head.
You do?
Yeah, he's right there. See him? Hi, Kano.
Now he left.
He slipped
Oh,
out
he
of the
left.
picture.
He's going to his
All right, go to
bedroom
bed.
to go night-night. He's on his way to bed too. That's why.
Oh, gotcha. Yep. It's bedtime.
Sometimes we start our show after they've already went there, and of course we started early for benefit of Hadley and
So we can do the picks, yeah.
catch him
But
cruising
then
by.
maybe we should let Kane do some picks.
Yeah.
He might be a little. I mean, we could try. He could
Yeah.
probably point at what he likes, but I think his attention span's a little less than hers.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah,
Very
Mr.
appropriate.
Bagman. What
You
does
know,
that
it just
say?
occurred. It just occurred to me that it says 3-0 because I wrote it backwards. So when
No,
I wrote
it's-
it,
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it looks perfect to us.
oh, does oh good. It says 0-3 because
No.
I'm looking at it in the screen. I'm like
Right, it's reversed.
3-0.
There is
Yeah.
a 3. There is a 3 and there is an O. If that's
Yes.
what you're wondering.
That's
They are
that's the
on there.
bright side. We'll just leave it at that.
Right.
I just heard.
Or maybe we won't.
Do I get a crown? Because I'm the opposite of you right now.
Well, so everybody's backwards to themselves, but to everybody else, it's right. Just
Okay.
it's like a mirror. So,
Okay.
like, if I look at my shirt, it's going the wrong way.
Good.
Yeah.
If I look at Evans and Joe's, the spelling's going the right direction.
Right.
Right.
Fantastic.
It's going where I'm pointing. This. If we're all looking at the screen, this is the same where your words start is on this side of your body from my perspective. But
Right.
you can tell that's the wrong side. That's the end of a line. So
Yeah.
So it's fucking you up to it, but you got it
way
right.
too long.
Hey, we may be recording, but we may not be doing the show yet.
Right.
I just
So-
needed to get the immediate bag on the head. I had to
Right.
get it.
Fandango.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
Sometimes when you do as bad as 0-3, you just need to wear a bag.
You just got to punt it. See,
Deserved.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
In fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm glad
yeah.
you just took one, manned up and said, I suck. And
You took a hard L, and you know what? I can't wait till next week when that bag
Yeah.
becomes 0-6.
Well,
That
the
would
good
be-
news is I already have the bag. The bag was the biggest challenge.
right. Did you do it in pencil or do you got to white it out? That would be even better. White out and then a new number.
It's actually in
The
Sharpie.
O,
so if I
the
am up
O
at
will
6,
never change. He can leave the O. He's got to
It
change the
actually will
3.
just be crossed out, and there will be a 6. Right.
Fucking this
Yes.
bag grows. He's attaching bags to the side of his bag.
Yes.
Get it really long.
That's right.
Beautiful.
He holds it up
And be
like a
well,
flag.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Let's get this party started.
All right, let's get the party
See?
started, Mr.
Yeah,
Batman.
I'm glad you wore it now, but I really was. In my mind, you should have waited till we started to talk about it. You said, hold on.
He doesn't even deserve to show his face.
And then
Well,
pulled
Well,
it
and
on.
that's the
Graceful.
whole thing. I mean, it's like, look, I needed to start with it.
Disgraceful effort, week one. You
I
deserve
love
it.
that.
I love
You
it.
deserve that. The
Yeah,
Pigskin
so-
pricks are. We need to get the show underway. Joe is not. His real face is not allowed because he's a disgrace. You're a disgrace.
Right. It's just as simple as that.
All right. Well, here's the real question: are you able to drink beer through the bag?
Yeah, I made sure Leah, cut the hole big enough to where I could drink out of the damn thing. But I got to tell you, 2 things. First thing, it's hotter than fuck in here, so it is
Sure.
like hell.
I'm
The
sure.
second thing is you guys are going to need to speak up because I can barely hear in this son of a bitch.
Put your headphones on.
Yeah, well, I thought about cutting ear holes, but there's a little, they don't extend down that far. It's
Fair
like,
enough.
hey, as much as I'd love to, but there we go.
It's even better. You kind of failed at the bag effort too, just because you can't even do the podcast properly because you can't hear.
Well, I mean, hey, if you're going to fail at something, go all the way with it. That's what I
That
say.
is true.
Absolutely.
That
If you're
is
going to do it
true.
wrong, do it really wrong.
That's it.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Well,
Yeah. So, to answer your question, Evan, yes, I can. And as a punishment, I'm bringing back an old friend to punish myself even more. I'm forcing myself to drink another lemonade stand.
Oh,
This
that's
shit
so
hasn't
good.
gotten better. But since I fucked everything up this week, I might as well go back and drink a fucked up beer. Let's see if it tastes any better this time. My guess is it doesn't.
Does it taste like defeat, Joe?
Nope, it still sucks really, really bad.
Then it's a perfect pairing for tonight.
Beautiful.
Oh, fuck. Are you kidding me? I just decided, screw it.
Such
just,
as the bad man who's drinking it. That's even better.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. It's like, look, if I'm going to punish myself, I'm going all the way with it. Bag on my head,
What-
drink shitty beer.
Then why aren't you
Here we
wearing it?
go.
Why aren't you wearing a Broncos shirt? I mean, if you really,
Because I don't own a Broncos shirt. I hate them that much.
you should have went out and bought one just to.
Yeah, I know, right?
Seriously.
No, that's fucking
Yeah.
great. This is
What-
great.
What do you give the
Yeah.
lemonade stand this time? What's its rating?
What's that?
What do you give it this time? What's the
Oh,
rating?
it's shitty. I gave it a 3, I think, last time. It's even worse now. Because I got a little, when I took a drink, not only did I get the shitty beer, but I got a little fiber
bag.
from the bag. That might have improved it a little bit. I think I'll give it a 3.1.
All right.
This
look at
shit
that.
still is bad. It sucks. It's no good. Don't drink it. It blows. It's horrible.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
It's as simple as that. But you know what? I had to punish myself for the. Well, we'll get into that into the show. So,
I
Right.
take immense.
John,
joy.
why don't you take
I
it
take
from
immense
here?
joy in your suffering right now. It's
Yeah,
a big
it's
glory.
hard to go. I was going to jump in this, try to minimize your pain, though I really don't
No,
want to.
we're maximizing.
So I'm trying another one of my ones that I got that massive collection from the liquor store that I told you guys all about a while back.
Oh, I like that hard cider, huh?
Yeah, look at that apple
Ooh, I like
Pinot
this.
Grigio hard cider. So
Mm.
I
Yeah.
picked this out because I'm celebrating a winning record so far, unlike Bagface
Fandango.
here.
All right.
That's a great thing to celebrate. I wish I could join you.
So I've never had it. It looks good. It's got a flying fish on it.
Ooh,
kind of
Yeah.
cool looking
fish,
thing.
okay.
Let's see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't explode
Did
on
it-
me like my last beer.
Yeah.
Did that say Pinot Grigio?
Apple Pinot Grigio. Yeah, so it's
Okay.
it says it's dry, more dry than it is sweet, graceful stone fruits.
Yep.
Unique cider blended with California Pinot Grigio from a
Ooh.
maker's perspective. So this shit actually has wine in it. Holy
Wow,
shit.
okay.
Well,
Okay.
that's why I asked about
That's
the
why
Pinot Grigio.
I just thought they were like comparing it to it. I didn't think it actually had
Oh.
wine.
Well,
See, I'm a big cider
you know what?
fan,
I hope it's
so-
drier than
Me too.
shit.
Oh, I'm okay. I like Pinot Grigio just fine. So my wife might like this. She loves Pinot Grigio, and she doesn't love cider, but she'll drink it every now and again. But I bet it's up her alley. Yeah, it smells winey.
All right.
Whiny.
Like wine-ish with apple.
Interesting.
It's not too.
It's a
dry,
hard
but
cider that tastes like
It's not
wine.
super sweet. It's not super sweet probably because of the wine.
Hey, can you stand up and show us your skirt?
I'm not wearing a skirt.
You should be.
Well, lost.
I
I
love
mean,
it.
you're awful
Yeah.
salty for a fucking loser. But anyway,
Well, hey, if you had a bag on your fucking head that itched like fucking mother, then you'd be salty too.
let's see. So for a cider, that's a really good one. I really like cider on ice. Have you ever tried it, Ev?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite actually. Usually because it's a little sweet and it kind of lights it. It makes it not so sweet.
Mm.
Yeah.
I like it really fucking ice cold, and I should have done
Dude,
that
every
here, but
time
then
I
I would
take a
screw up
drink
the
of this
flavor.
beer, I got to wash it down with water.
Oh, man. That's when you know
Oh,
it's true.
that's fucking great.
That shit is horrible.
We're gonna go from a cider perspective to an 8.5,
Ooh,
considering that
that's
it's
really
also mixed with right, and that's why I'm saying some from a cider because some people don't like ciders, and if they said,
Right.
well,
Wow.
if they wanted a beer, how
That's
would I
really
rate
high.
it in the realm of beers? An 8. So if I had this or a really good beer, I would say this is an 8. And if I had an 8.5 beer, I might like it better, right?
Okay.
But I love cider, so I didn't
Yeah.
want to knock it down either. I have a hard time with that. Some people might call this a fucking 4 if they didn't like cider. I
Right.
get it,
Yeah.
but if you compared it to other ciders, you can go, this is, unless you like it super sweet, this is really good, crisp, a little dry, but not too dry,
Yeah.
smooth. More apple than Pinot Grigio. It's not like overwhelming wine flavor if you don't like it, but you can tell that's where it gets some of the dryness and fruitiness as well. So it's
Yeah.
just
Alright.
good, to be honest. I wish I had a whole 6-pack. I think I got one of these motherfuckers. So I'm bummed.
All right. I might have to look
Yeah.
for that. That sounds really good. I'm a big cider fan. If I go out and order a drink, a lot of times, if they got a good cider, that will be my drink of choice. So
Absolutely.
I'm going to look for it. All right. Well, let's talk some football. And Mr. Bagman, I
Yeah.
really would like to start with you.
Sure.
For any of the listeners who may be tuning in and not understanding the bag, can you
Yeah.
please explain your losing efforts and why you're hiding in shame?
Yes, of course. Of course. I'd love to. So, for any of the listeners that don't know, we, the Pigskin P-Ricks, are in 3 different fantasy football leagues. We have CBS Sportsline, we have NFL.com, and we have ESPN. So we have 3 different teams. My teams in each league lost. So out of the 3 teams that I own, I went 0-3. Shameful, I know. It's called an ass whooping, just an ass whooping. So in honor of this ass whooping, I decided to sit in shame and drink a shitty beer.
It's deserved. It's deserved.
So that's why I'm wearing a bag on my head.
You know, you didn't even really come close to winning your games either.
That's not true. He had one that was pretty close.
He had one.
Yeah, well, you know what? The funny thing is, I wasn't the lowest score in any of the leagues.
Okay.
True.
So, I mean, at least there's that. Shit, if I can even find a bright spot somewhere, that would probably have to be it. Because there wasn't much brightness to it at all. But, at least I wasn't the lowest in any league. So
let's see. In our ESPN league, where it's all of us and friends and family, Joe is eighth worst. So just
8 out of 12. Okay.
Right. That's not too bad. I mean, I guess.
Well, I wasn't 12. I think your brother was he not, John?
Yeah. I mean, we're not talking about other people, but yes, my
Not to
brother.
throw anyone under the bus.
My brother
when
was
you're 0-3,
scored-
I'm going to talk about other people. Okay.
Right. When you're the bottom of the league and you score almost half as many points as the next team.
That's a little.
Yeah, you don't have a whole lot to stand on as far as
Me?
your team. No, this team that you happen to name, which happened to be my brother's.
Yes.
Yeah, you fucking suck. I mean,
There's no other way to put it. You can't be nice about it.
it's not too easy to give him anything. So Joe's in our NFL league. Joe is 11th out of 12.
Right.
And maybe it fits his namesake. Likes it deep. Yeah. Deep in the standings.
He definitely likes it
Let me
deep.
tell you something. I took it deep.
Oh man.
So, yeah.
And let's see. In our CBS league, just because we're going out, let's see. Come on. We'll go to power ranking because.
Sure.
Goddamn.
That's a great place to go.
We need overall. Come on, give me.
Who's at the bottom? It's got to be Joe.
They're fucking CBS is just stupid.
I don't think it's me.
Let's
dude.
try this. Let's try this again.
Matter of fact, I was higher than John.
I believe CBS is the one they send out like the report that I screenshot.
Yeah.
To you. So
No,
you
they
actually
do.
didn't do
This
bad.
is terrible.
You
Let's
made
go.
some bad roster decisions. You had Aaron
Me?
Rodgers sitting on the bench, which cost you because he lit it up.
Oh, there we go. In CBS,
Yeah, well,
Joe was just on the other side of the winning side. He was ranked 7th. There was 2 tied for rank 6 or 5th. Sorry.
fantastic.
In the power ranking, this is. Yeah, I happen to be ranked 11th in that league. So
So that was actually my highest.
Yeah.
right,
You
but
didn't do too bad.
you still from a power ranking perspective, weren't cutting it, man. But hey, you did better than me. So who am I to fucking talk shit?
Right.
Let's see. Do we have any other? Theirs just sucks. I don't like their standings.
Yeah, the CBS
playoff race, maybe
right.
that's the best way to go about it. Yeah, they don't even show that. At CBS, you guys need to fix your shit.
Then we have the NFL one, NFL.com.
No, that's right. So I went with NFL.
did
Joe was
NFL.
11th. He was
Okay.
11th. In
Yeah.
ESPN, he was 8th. So some trends there. And then it looked like he was 7th, essentially. And
Well, regardless of what the power rankings say, he's still 0-3.
That's right.
right, absolutely. And
I'm 0-3. I'm feeling good though. I'm feeling good. I listened
feel
to a
like-
guy who gives fantasy football advice, and he said, the biggest mistake after week 1, I was telling John this earlier, people panic. And what they do is they panic and they start dumping guys because they're like, oh my God, I lost. My roster's horrible. They start dumping guys. He goes, the fact of the matter is, guys have good games and they have bad games.
Right.
He's like, you trust me, people are going to talk shit, but they better not talk too much shit because I can guarantee you in weeks coming, they're going to experience the same pain you're feeling. And it's absolutely true. If you've ever played fantasy football, things can go fucking through the floor or they can be in the clouds.
Right.
And within a week. So I will say the biggest bright side to going 0-3 is I have the first waiver wire pick and I picked up some great guys. And it's especially important after week 1 because there's a lot of good guys sitting on the bench that nobody knew about.
right.
So that was a seriously bright point for me. I was able to grab some guys before other guys. And so I was feeling really good about that. But you know what? It's fantasy football. So we'll just put our head down and keep moving forward.
Right.
I mean, what else are you going to do?
So, Joe, out of the guys that you picked up, who do you think was the best, value, just got you
we're gonna
excited?
find out.
How did we miss this? I know.
I think it's-
I'm not saying you predict it. In your opinion, when you were looking at the waiver wire, who got you the most excited as far as a
Adrian
pickup?
Peterson for sure.
He got some
Yeah.
carries. He played well.
Yeah, he had 14 carries for 93 yards, and he had 3 catches for 30 yards. So, I mean, nobody expected that. Everybody thought Swift was going to get all the carries, and it actually didn't work out that way. And so when he was sitting there, I was like I can't pass this guy up,
Right.
So will he do that every week? Absolutely not.
Right.
But you know what, Evan? You won't score 150 points every week. You could essentially score 90 the next week. So we just never know what's going to happen. It's, John, your brother said something that makes a whole lot of sense. Better lucky than good is probably more true in fantasy football than not. There's a lot of luck in it.
Right.
There is skill. There's skill when you're picking up players, you're changing players out. Hey, you're watching it. I like this guy against this team better than this team. There's some skill in that. But overall, how the players actually go out and perform, that's luck. You're lucky if your guy goes out and scores 50 points, right? So, when Rick said that, it's actually kind of funny because there isn't a semblance of that. I wouldn't say it's all luck, but there's a big portion of this that is luck.
Right. You obviously can't control when you go into Monday night down by basically 9 points with James Conner thinking you might have a chance to win. And he gets injured with 3 points.
It's one of those things.
Right.
Oh, you know what, John? Something else that really resonated with me. You and I were having a conversation this morning, and you said we were talking about the 2 guys getting hurt. We were talking about Marlon Mack, and we were talking about James Conner.
Your opponent had Marlon Mack,
Yes, and you said, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you said, well, he had it worse because Marlon Mack is out for the year. Right? Did I hear that correct?
That's what I said.
Because I would agree. I would disagree with that wholeheartedly because at least he can say, well, fuck Marlon Mack. He's gone. I can go get somebody healthy. Me, I've got a guy who may have a lingering fucking sprained ankle or a guy that pulls his hammy and he fucks you all year. And trust me, that's happened. I've had it happen with Dalvin Cook. I had it happen with Fournette. Unless we're talking about like a Patrick Mahomes or a Christian McCaffrey, Marlon Mack was playing in his flex position. So he was his 3rd running back, right? Listen, he's better off not having him because, he pulled a hamstring. You don't know what the fuck they're going to do. They say he's probable. You play him. He goes in one play and pulls up. You're fucked.
So I'll argue that a little bit, Joe.
Okay, go ahead.
And here's where I would angle on that. So I hear you. I don't disagree that at least you have definitive answer what's going on with this guy. And if you were in a league where you had an IR slot and you wanted to keep him, you could do it. It's not Christian McCaffrey, but that wasn't so much my point. My point was he lost a starting player for the season. And as you pointed out, he took a win, so his waiver choice wasn't your waiver choice. So now he's got to replace a drafted position with somebody off the waiver wire, and he doesn't get the high waiver pick. So he's got a bigger gap to fill than you, who's got to fill in a couple weeks potentially, maybe not even a week because we don't know what happened. I mean, I saw James Conner on the sideline. He didn't look that hurt to me. He looked pissed off that he wasn't getting back in the game. And when I watched the game, my opinion, though I know it differs from you a little bit, is I didn't think he played all that well anyway. So I think the coaches use that as an excuse to keep him on the bench. But you're right. You don't really know what's going to happen next week. Do you even risk playing the motherfucker next week? Because you might end up with the same scenario where at least the opponent you played has a definitive answer, but he's got to find somebody to fill in. I happen to have
I agree with
Taylor
that,
or whatever.
John,
So I was happy to see Matt go down because now my Indianapolis running back of the 3 that played that night just got elevated in his stock.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you, John, except he's in the flex position, and you can use a running back
but he's still
or a
drafted.
receiver.
It was still a draft.
No, it does matter. The only time it'll fuck him is when he has a bye with a running back or if one of his running backs gets hurt. Otherwise, Marlon Mack was never going to play in a running back position. You got a ton of receivers on your bench that can come in and fill in and make more points than him. So that's a bullshit argument. It's a good argument if he's one of your running backs, one of your starters.
His name says running back.
He's playing in a flex position.
You can
And so it's not near as important.
I get what you're saying. Well, I'm in the same situation as you, Joe, for one of the leagues because I also have James Conner in a league. I believe it might be I want to say the NFL.com league or the CBS. It's not the ESPN
Did you play
league.
him?
I played him, and I got a win despite that. So got a little lucky on that one, but I think I was well ahead by the time that game came around, so I didn't need to worry about it too much. But So I'm in the
Yeah.
same position, and I'm a little thin at running back as it is in that that particular league. I was kind of
Yeah.
relying on James Conner. So that's something I agree with you in a sense that if this is a lingering issue, that can
Yeah.
screw you the whole season.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's like get the guy gone. Because now you can cut Mac. He's gone. You don't have to fuck with him. Go out and get another guy. You're right, John. Not to Mac's level, but at least he's healthy. And you know what? It's good that it happened week 1 because there's still a lot of running backs
Right.
out there
There will
that
be guys who
are-
emerge.
that are, yeah, absolutely. So
just to shoot
this
you
was really
down,
optimal for him.
just to shoot you down, Marlon Mack was his second running back. In his flex position, he had Will Fuller.
Okay.
And
Well,
we teased
Marlon
him. His,
Mack was down though. He was down.
oh,
in the
you
flex
probably
position
looked at
either.
week 2. See, the problem is you probably looked. No, I mean I'm looking at it right on their site right now. He was a starter in the running back position, and his other running backs, and we teased him. One was LaShawn McCoy, which no surprise didn't start. He did have Tariq Cohen, and he could have potentially played him.
Yeah.
The projections actually were Tariq was supposed to score 0.1 points more than Marlon Mack. So if he would have went with the projections, he would have had Tariq in the game. Tariq actually got less points. In reality, he got 6.7, and even though Marlon got hurt, he got 8.6 points. So, it still worked out for him, but he did lose his starter.
I do think it's
Not a great starter.
I like
but a starter.
Marlon Mack's not a bad player. I mean, I think that is
No.
a
No, he's
loss.
not a
Like,
bad player, but I looked at that today. So
Look again.
Something's
That's all I can
Well, you
weird
might
with
be
that.
looking at the week 2 lineup.
No, I went
What
back
is-
to week 1.
All right. Well,
So I don't know. Maybe I
Maybe
I
you
don't
got
know.
too excited. I don't
well,
know.
regardless, maybe I know we wanted to talk about guys we were looking at for week 2. Some projections that we have. Some I don't know, a couple guys that we think may do well. Maybe they'll bust. Mr. Bagman, since you're an expert at fantasy football,
I think I should go last.
I would love to hear who you think is going to do well. And then once everybody hears your projections, I'm sure they're going to go sit them on the bench, but I would still like to hear what you have to say.
Oh, well, in that case, I think you should
Shit.
bench Lamar Jackson. I think you should bench Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, that means they're going to start him. You're
Now,
not
yeah,
listening.
now they're going to start him. They're not listening
Well, there
to
you go. I mean, shit. If we're gonna play that way, then we're good. I don't know. I mean, I could throw some players out here. But my advice to anybody who's wondering in fantasy football, go look at the stardom sit-em guys. I looked at those guys today, but it's weird because there's a ton of them, right? One guy was like, hey, man, don't play Adrian Peterson. The other two were like, hey, man, you need to play this fucking guy. He's going to score 14 or 15 points.
What I've noticed is I think a lot of people just like in the past when I didn't pay too much attention to it, I would just go by the numbers. I would say, all right, what's the projection? Who's ever the highest projection, I'm going to start. But last week, for example,
I tend to follow the projections.
I didn't last week.
I'll also look at who they're playing.
Well, right. But I don't.
So what defense is a running back playing against? Oh, you're playing against Pittsburgh? Yeah, I might consider not playing him unless he's Christian McCaffrey.
Well, right. Well, last week, for example, I had John Brown originally on the bench, and he was only projected to get about 10 points. And Michael Gallup was projected to get about 15, and I put Brown in over Gallup. And what do you know? Gallup didn't. Brown significantly outscored them. So I think there's people need to. You can't just go by the numbers a lot of times because I think those projections they don't end up being true. So you got to do that.
No, but people really don't have anything else to go off of. Again, Evan, if you're not following the projections, you're guessing.
I think there's a critical analysis that comes with following.
Really? You call this critical? There is nothing
analysis,
about
deep
fantasy
dive.
football that is
Deep
critical.
diving.
Let's just be real clear about that.
I mean,
It's never critical. You can analyze shit and you can say, okay, they're playing this defense. I don't really want to play him against them because they're going to stack the box, blah, blah, blah. There's always that conversation. But again,
do you think his viewpoint is skewed this week because he's 0-3?
I think I think you're 0-3 and I'm 3-0. So I think what I'm saying might hold a little bit more weight. There's some if you critically analyze, maybe you'll get a little bit of a better record. I don't know. But
So if you go 0-3 this next week, will you come back and bullshit and say, "Oh, I guess I didn't critically analyze
analyze,
enough this week"?
Yeah.
He'll
Yeah,
wear
yeah.
the bag.
Yeah.
I'll wear the bag.
Yeah,
I'll wear the
yeah,
bag.
It'll be his
I'll
turn
find
to
a
wear
way.
the bag.
Hey, I just want to tell you guys, keep talking smack because I guarantee it. You're both gonna lose. It's gonna happen.
Oh, I lost
You
this
can
week,
sit
but
and
not
talk
0-3.
smack all you want, but I'm just telling you, prepare yourself because you're gonna get bent over at some point this season.
So, but you
Alright.
acknowledge,
Fair
Joe, that this is,
Yes.
while it's a lot of luck, there is some skill. And
I
so I
said
don't
that.
think you can. I don't think you can argue that what Evan's saying has some merit as far as critically analyzing. If you're looking at two players that, in general, play the same position and have similar projections, you're making a decision on who to play. You could flip a coin. That's not really critically analyzing it. Or you could
Correct.
look at other factors like, are they playing at home or away? Are they, what kind of defense are they playing?
Correct.
How they do last week? Do they have any injury? Those are things that you're doing to critically analyze the situation. And I think he's saying, you might be doing that. A good
Right.
manager
But I
might do that,
guarantee you.
and it might give them an advantage. Not always. Sometimes
Yeah.
you're going to critically analyze, and you're going to be full of shit. Because I definitely played Saquon Barkley, even though I know I was playing against Pittsburgh's D.
Right,
And
he's
who would say
Saquon
not
Barkley.
to start Barkley? That's a
Right.
must start.
But-
Did he do very well? No.
But
you
I just
had
said
to
that.
play him.
I said if you're
right.
Christian McCaffrey, even if you're playing Pittsburgh, you're gonna start the
It's,
guy.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
more so for the
Saquon is the
running back
same level
2s and
as that.
3s and the receivers 2s and 3s.
Right.
The guys who are you can sub in
Right.
week in.
But you
and
could
week out.
argue that I could have subbed and
You could have, John,
But
that
but
would've been-
nobody
but-
in their fantasy right mind.
Right,
would have.
right. Well,
No
no,
one.
what you just
It
said.
has
hey, if you're
nothing to
playing
do with
Pittsburgh.
critical analysis.
Well,
it has
that's
to do
for-
with
that's for a very
Saquon is the
specific-
second best running back in the
only for
league.
very
It doesn't
specific
matter
guys.
who he plays unless he's hurt.
Well, he's not the second best running back right now. That's Christian McCaffrey.
He was when the draft happened.
I know. He was
So,
either second or
so,
third.
When you're talking about week one, you go off the draft. He was the second best running back. I don't give a fuck if he's playing against God.
Well, of
You're going to
course.
play the guy. And you're
Of
right.
course.
He didn't have a great game. But you talk about critical analysis. Yeah, I suppose some do it. But my guess is that 90% of guys that play fantasy football don't get that into it. We do because we take it very seriously. But how many guys in our ESPN league went in there and critically analyzed shit? I could think of 6 guys that we play in the ESPN. They didn't even look at their fucking games until probably Saturday night. Hell,
That's
it
right.
might have been Sunday morning.
Hey, some
Well,
of the guys in our
critically-
league didn't.
Imagine
Critically,
that.
when I say critically analyze, maybe that's like too much of a teacher term I'm coming in with here. I'm thinking
Yeah,
just
maybe.
taking a look and not just blindly following projections. I don't think you can like blindly following what an expert analyst says and then going with it because they say it. I think you have to just
Well, yeah, but I think
take the extra 2
Evan,
minutes.
most people do go with what the projections say.
Well, what I'm saying, I agree, and I don't.
I mean,
but I
if you
don't
don't
think
have-
that's
if
the
you
right
don't have a
strategy.
better- if you don't have a
analyze
better-
anything, they're like, oh, this guy says he's supposed to score 14 points. I'm going to go with this guy, even though he's got a guy that says, well, he's projected to get 10. But look who he's playing. Maybe I should stick him in there. Most people don't do that. They look at the projections and they say, yeah, okay.
That's fair. No, and I
I'll go with
agree.
the higher
I
ranked
agree with
guy.
you.
You know, and so that's the bulk of what people do and how they play fantasy football. Now, there are people like us that get more involved with it, and they're like, yeah, who's the defense? You know, are they going to stack the box? Hey, this guy's questionable. You know, it's a game time decision. I've got to watch right up. You're listening to ESPN to try to figure out, you know, how hurt is he? Is it a high ankle sprain or is it an ankle sprain? I mean,
Right.
we're doing all of that stuff, but most people don't. Yes,
Right.
I understand what you're saying as far as, you know, critically analyze. I get it. There are people that do that, but it's not the majority. That's not
No,
the
that's fair.
majority of fantasy football.
Of course.
Right? Now, are people that do that generally better? Yeah, I think so. But you know what? If you pick a guy and you critically analyze it and you put that guy that's projected 10 points over the guy that's projected 14 and it's a thud,
Well, then you're screwed.
Well, then
that
what?
happens.
right? So, I mean, again, that's where the luck comes in. But you're right, John. I said from the very beginning, it's not all luck. I said there's a lot of luck, but there is skill to it. I mean, you got to pick players and you got to put the right players in the right positions. You know, Ben Baker, I'll use him as an example. He played Mike Evans. Right now, Mike
he had a
Evans
rough one.
was hampered by injury. they didn't even know if he was going to go until game time, right?
Right.
So Ben kept him at the game. I took him out, right? I took him out because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I put in Deshaun Jackson, scored me 6 points, right? Mike Evans had a shitty fucking game. Caught a late touchdown, I think you said, right, John? At the very end.
2 yards, one touchdown.
What's
one
that?
catch. He had one catch for 2 yards and a touchdown.
And
that
a
was his
touchdown,
stats
right?
for the
So he
game.
scored 6 points. This guy was slated to score 17, right?
Right.
And so nobody in their right mind's going to sit Mike Evans. But he totally bent Ben over this week. You know, but then you just assume that these guys are even close. I mean, if he'd have got 14, it would have been like, okay, I can. But to get 6 when you're slated to get that many, that's what I'm trying to say. Is you got these guys that are just fantastic, but they're not fantastic every week.
Well, right, and that's the
so
thing.
you know, it's like I could have beat a lot of guys in the CBS Sports League. Well, how many? I was 7. So there was a bunch of guys I could have beat, but I played a guy that scored more points than me this week. You know, if I'd have played any of the other 5 guys, well, shit, I would have won, you know. But woulda, coulda, shoulda, I'm 0-3. I'm wearing a bag on my head, and I'm drinking shitty beer. So
which is better than the bag, to be quite honest.
I don't know. I'd almost rather wear the bag. This beer is just horrible.
Yeah, I don't.
Horribly.
They're on equal footing.
No, you misunderstood. I thought it was better for us to see you drink that beer again than it was to.
Well, you didn't see my face when I took a drink.
We'll look up the replay. We'll do a live replay when we edit this video, and for everybody to see that face again, and we'll superimpose it over your bag.
Well, I am going to finish it as punishment. So
good, you have to. We wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
So you guys want to hear some numbers shit just for fun?
Sure.
Yeah. Give me some numbers.
Okay, and I started this. I didn't finish it all. So one of the things I wanted to do, and we talked about it well before the season ever started, was compare expert predictions to the actuals and figure out what leagues do better. And all I've done is CBS Sportsline so far, guys, by the way. And I figured out – so I first collected this I collected it Thursday night just before the game started. Actually, some of the stuff I got, maybe not for this league, but maybe for others, happened as the game was beginning. So, it was that kind of late time. And I actually liked it to a certain degree because I'm like, this is a projection made before you had to put your first guy in the lineup, right? And so even though you might have people showing up on Sunday, you got to make a decision. Do I play the guy on Thursday or the guy on Sunday based on the projections at that point? And the reason I'm saying that is I noticed some of the projections changed as the final number when you go back and look at the individual player stats and what their projection was versus what they actually did. And that's why I'm kind of just making that point. But what I'm going to share right now is more interesting is, so what I did is I collected all the players, right, for each of our teams in CBS Sportsline. So I only did players that are currently on a team.
Yeah.
I noticed at least one team had a couple players they had already changed out, so I didn't go back and get their players. They originally had who they played at that point and those numbers. Okay, and so what's interesting that I found. So I did 2 different kinds of numbers. I did the difference, and so if it's a negative number, the experts over projected your overall team.
Okay. Yeah.
Then I did an absolute value, which tells you how far off of the actual were they. Not whether they were sometimes more than they should have and sometimes less, but how far off of the actual number were they, right? Okay, so my team, as an example, they over projected me 14.32 points, okay? I'm going to get better numbers. So what I'm going to also do at some point here is break down how far off were they in quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, starters versus bench, because I think that might be interesting because I'm kind of noticing some trends. But anyway, they projected me to score 14 more points than I actually did. They were off on my team by 59.48 points total, right? So there were some guys that an example was I played Saquon Barkley. He underperformed 7.41 points. I did not play J.K. Dobbins. He overperformed 8.4 points, right? That's a swing of 15, almost 16 points. Could potentially win a game, those kind of numbers.
Right.
So of those, just kind of – so I'll do me, Joe, and you first, and then we'll go into some other numbers. So I'm underperformed. Joe had – let's find his players. He had –
it's funny, John, on that.
I know your number. You played Cam, right?
Yes.
That was a
They
good-
actually underprojected
Who
you.
knew?
They underprojected you 41 points.
Wow.
Yeah.
He
But
still
if
lost.
you were to, exactly, he still lost. But if you were to look at his starting lineup, it was, and I'll go find the team he played, 41 points. They missed the number on Joe's team by 96.81 points.
Wow. I mean, that's
Right.
a big swing.
That's a huge swing. And one of my points I'm going to make here is if they overproject a guy that you had on your bench and underprojected the guy you started, so you thought the guy you started was the right guy, and they fucking missed it. He underperformed, and they undervalued a guy on your bench, and he overperformed. The expert misled you in what you did. And
Oh, yeah,
by
for
the way,
sure.
they did that. They picked on Joe for a couple positions in the email they sent
Yeah.
out, and
Yeah, they did.
their experts projected the guys he played as starters to
Yes.
do better. Yet they, the review says you made a
Oh,
mistake.
Joe
and you're-
should have. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
so
Okay.
you're like, what are you talking about? This is not quite right. Okay, who's your starter? Was it Russell? Ev, who's your team? Who's your starting
My
quarterback?
starting quarterback. I
In
believe
CBS.
it was.
I just get your team.
Russell Wilson. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they overprojected your team, or they. I'm saying it wrong. Your team scored 8.8 more points than you were supposed to
Oh, okay. Okay.
as a team, right? Your quarterback scored 15 points more than he was
I
supposed
gonna
to,
say, he went off.
right? So that kind of helps. And in your case, your bench, as you implied, didn't do really well. Your starters did in general better than they were projected to do. So you did a good job of flipping it. Again, overall, 62 points they missed on your team, right? So
Shows
you
you
and
what they
Joe,
know.
right? You and Joe, there's a 9-pointer. But what I noticed is most teams were underprojected. Like they said they were going to score more than they actually did. That seems to be a very common theme. Like
And
they're
I
a
have-
little too strong
I
on
have
their
a question.
numbers.
On your CBS team, the way you drafted it, like your starters, like your first picks, you
Yep.
know how they put them in all the starting positions. Did you change that after the draft, or did you just
Yeah.
leave it as you
Yeah, he
drafted
did.
it
Yeah,
He made a couple
I
points.
put John Brown in the game. He was on the bench
instead of who?
instead of Michael Gallup.
Okay, is that the only one that you changed?
I believe
Because
so.
I guess my point is that you didn't really change anything from the draft. You
No,
changed
not
one
much,
player,
just one player.
but you really just drafted and then left it alone.
Oh, you
didn't
know what? I
really-
got rid of my kicker because I had Rob.
Well, yeah, because he was hurt and didn't play or got traded. But yeah,
straight up release.
so I guess my point with that, John, is most people after their draft don't make a move. They just leave the starters
Right.
in that they
Week
play.
one,
You might make
yeah.
one, but most people aren't making moves. They're sticking with the guys
Well,
because no one's hurt at that point. I mean,
Right.
you know, there's no buys.
It's week
You're gonna
one. You're
stick
going
with
with the
your
best
starting lineup.
guys who you drafted early because you believe in those picks that you made
That's
early.
correct.
So
That's correct.
So interestingly, Joe, the guy you played against, they
Yeah.
only missed his overall by not. They undervalued his team by 9 points. He scored
9
9
points,
points
yeah.
more
That
as a
actually
team.
doesn't surprise me.
As a team, and they only missed his projections on his entire team by 45 points.
Yeah.
So they were so wildly off on your team. Again, it wasn't on, at least they didn't say you were going to score way more that you didn't. You just didn't get them in the right place. I mean,
Right.
they couldn't get close on your team. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So for instance, you played the right quarterback by playing Cam Newton at 19.84 points projected. He scored 25. He overperformed.
Correct.
But you didn't play Aaron Rodgers, and you might not have anyway, but he was only projected to get 17.44. However, you'd have been very smart to play him because he did more than double his projection
Right.
at 38
Well,
points.
Right, John. And most
Was that
people
your
will say-
mistake?
What's that?
Right? That's my point is that
Right.
your mistake? And they were
Well,
playing
and-
Minnesota. In Minnesota, that was supposed to be a better defensive team.
A stud defense, right? That's one of those calls where he was my starting quarterback. I changed that out because I did that critical analysis. I said, wait,
Right.
I think Cam's going to have a better game. He's playing a weaker defense. They're going into Minnesota.
I would have done the
He
same
doesn't
thing.
have receivers. We've talked about that a ton this offseason, you know, and he's going in to play a Minnesota defense that has been juggernauts. So it's like I did that analysis and it came back to bite me in the ass. I guess that was the point that I was trying to make earlier.
Oh, right,
I
right.
got you.
That
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
do that and it still bites you in the ass.
Well,
Right,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Both Robbie Anderson and John Brown were projected less than your starter. Other
Yes.
starting wide receivers,
Yes.
And 2 of your 3 starting wide receivers underperformed, and
Yes.
both Robbie and John Brown outperformed their projections. So you didn't make – obviously, Evan played John Brown, so he made the right call on that. But you didn't – if you were – I guess the point here is if you're more of a fantasy football casual player, right,
Yeah.
and especially week 1, even if you're a good player, week 1 – especially this season, you don't have a lot to go off of.
Right.
Oh, right. It's
Right.
a crap.
So you either go with your instinct or you go. It's hard to go against the numbers. If the projections are consistently higher for a player, and you see starting percentage, all that fun stuff, you're going to lean on that as your decision maker, unless something obvious like they're injured, that might sway you. But if everything else sounds good, and yeah, you can say they're playing a tough defense, but again, until week 1 occurs.
Right.
What might be supposedly the best defense might actually be one of the worst defenses. You just don't really know, right? So we can pick on you,
the San
but
Francisco defense and the Minnesota defense both got me 0 points.
right. I think this is
and
an
they were
interesting.
2 of the top defenses, picked in the draft. So it's just one of those things that you never know what's going to happen. You just got to take what comes.
Right. Week 1 to me is the funnest and worst because it's such a crapshoot, but it's the thing you can potentially learn the most about your players and others.
Sure.
Again, like you said, you don't want to wholeheartedly jump. If you believe in a player and everybody else doesn't had a bad week, you probably don't drop Saquon Barkley the first week because he scored 6 points or whatever.
Right.
It's because he played a team that had a good defense and Daniel Jones looked like shit. And their offensive line's pretty crappy, to be quite honest, because Saquon, when he caught the ball out of the backfield, he made yards. He just couldn't run. And it's not because he doesn't know how to run the ball.
So
he
are
hurdled
you just
motherfucking guys.
now are you not going to start Saquon over J.K. Dobbins because he only scored 6 points?
Exactly. That's my point. Is
I mean,
you got to look at it. But what I would be doing, here's how I handle that scenario. If the next week I play Saquon and I don't play J.K. and the very following week it's a very similar pattern. Saquon's not doing it. J.K. is.
Yeah.
Then I start to go, okay, something's changed. These players aren't what they used to be. And, obviously J.K. Dobbins has a starting running back on his team that scored more points than him. But even as the backup, he did well. And it might also not even point to he's a better running back than Saquon, but he's on a team that is a better team that has a better offense that nets him an opportunity to score more points.
Well, you also
and so that might be why I'm using him.
J.K. Dobbins got 2 goal line touches, both touchdowns.
Yeah, those can be beautiful.
And they are beautiful, but they don't happen all the time.
No, but
Baltimore's
some guys
also
do.
going to score through the sky.
Right.
So you're not always going to get those. And if J.K. Dobbins doesn't get those touchdowns, he didn't score shit.
Right.
So,
Let's see here.
it's one of those. He may get them this week.
Right. He had 7 carries. You're right. He had 7 carries for 22 yards. So
Yeah.
he touched the ball a reasonable amount of times. His average was 3.1 about.
Right.
Not great.
Not
but he got
impressive.
2 TDs. He got 2 TDs. So he's the
that's
man.
the thing.
I mean, there.
Right.
I would
Now-
be worried as a Mark Ingram owner. I'm going to say that. If I had
Right.
Mark Ingram, I would be a little worried.
Well, think of
not if
like
you got
Jerome
J.K.
Bettis,
Dobbins.
right? In the good old
Right.
days, Jerome Bettis. He didn't carry the ball a ton. He didn't get a ton of yards, but that dude got the ball on any goal line carry because the bus was getting it in the
He's
end
the
zone.
bus. Yeah.
He was putting points up just in touchdowns. He wasn't doing shit in yards.
Yeah.
And let's flip the coin on that. So we talked a lot about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and he had a very good game. We were chatting as the game had 25 carries, 38 yards, and a touchdown. What is the one thing he couldn't do? Get the ball in the end zone when he was close to the goal line.
Yeah.
Either his skill yet, he doesn't know how to sneak in like a Marcus Allen and fit in a gap, or he just doesn't have the power in that short amount of distance.
He's a small guy.
Right, to get in, or the Chiefs' offensive line isn't good enough in a short distance to muscle people, where when they have space and they got a lot of movement, he's the right fit. And that's what I would say was my takeaway, because he had a great run from, 20, 30 yards out,
Right.
that he scored a touchdown, and he juke dudes, very shifty. I mean, he made people miss, and he scored a touchdown with speed and moves. And you're like, damn, that's impressive. One thing I didn't realize, did you guys know, I'm just looking at it, he didn't catch a single ball out of the backfield.
Well, that's what's
He had 2
enticing
targets,
about
but
him.
he didn't catch anything.
Because he didn't catch it, I feel like you almost didn't see his full.
Oh, his true potential, yeah.
Right. And it's the same thing it's actually the same thing that happened to Austin Eckler this week. He caught 1 ball for like 2 yards or
Right.
2 catches.
And that's what he was known for last year.
And there's a lot. I think there's Edwards-Helaire is a perfect example. Austin Eckler is a perfect example. I feel like we didn't see the full package for a lot of these guys. So
Austin Eckler's sharing time.
well, yeah,
None of us really knew that.
that's
We
a little.
we thought he was going to be. We thought he was going to be a featured back. He's not, and that was surprise. I mean, I'm not sure that was ever out in the news because I never saw it.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have made him a
big
first-round pick if I
we took
had
Austin
known
Eckler.
that.
Right. Absolutely.
So hey, listen. With the little girl, we got to get moving on
Oh,
to the
dude,
picks.
we got so off subject. We should not have done that because, I wanted to
Happens.
cover that early. But anyway.
Yeah. Also, let me throw in Joe's 3-team parlay of the week.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, how'd you do last week?
Okay.
Give us a
so
quick summary.
on my 3-teamer, I went 2 out of 3,
Okay.
and on my 9-teamer, I went 7 out of 9.
Okay.
So yeah,
Close.
it's close.
Which pick was your worst pick out of that consistently? Do you think? Which team did you?
Off of which parlay?
Did you have one that was on both parlays that you wish you would have not picked?
Yeah, Green Bay, Minnesota.
Okay, there we go. That's
Yeah.
what I was after.
Yeah, for sure. That's the one that got me. That's the one that got me the worst.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, here we go. So I'm taking Buffalo -5.5 at Miami.
Okay.
I like
I'm
it.
taking
That's a good
San
one.
Francisco -7 at the Jets.
I like it.
at the Jets. Okay. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
see that.
And I'm taking Baltimore -7 at Houston.
I like that.
Sounds
So
good
that's
to
my
me.
I hate 7
I didn't get
points.
to the
Who
casino
does?
to bet it, so I don't have a ticket, but I
Gotcha.
will.
I hate 7 points because that's a tough one. But the Chiefs covered the spread against Houston, and I'd say Baltimore looked equally as good, if not better.
Yeah, and the Chiefs gave them garbage time at the end too.
Right. Yeah.
I
Right.
think
Because they were just destroying them, and then the Chiefs
think
looked like their
Baltimore-
passing game struggles.
I think
by some
Baltimore's going to
defense.
destroy them too.
Yeah, me too. San Fran, just who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, Philly was supposed to do well, and the Jets came along, but it really was their passing game, and it was late
Buffalo
game
was
when they had
killing
to
them.
throw it. I got the wrong team.
Yeah,
Watched
they
it.
played,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
played
Buffalo destroyed their asses.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Came
yeah,
along and they had
The-
some yards, but again, when you're down that much,
yeah, you're going to give
And then you
garbage
start-
time. Yeah,
you're
Yeah.
right. You start throwing the ball a lot because you don't have
Right.
a choice. And to be honest, if teams looked at that more, you can have turnovers, but it's hard to defend all game long when you're throwing the ball. It
Right.
really is. Sooner or later, you're going to break one or 10.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's going to start working out for you. You just got to get past it. So I'm kind of curious why teams don't do that more. But anyway, because the Chiefs suffered from that too. Once Houston just threw because they were kicking our ass with the run, but it didn't matter. We chatted about it. It's like it doesn't matter if they run the ball; they don't have enough time.
Right.
They can't run the ball even if they gain yards and score because the Chiefs turn around and just score right back on them, and own possession anyway in that game. So it's not working for them. They got to do something to speed it up.
right.
And it worked for them. They just did it too late, and they might not beat the Chiefs anyway, but it might close the gap. They might not have lost by more than 10. Anyway, so now you get your 3-team. Are those 3 teams part of the ones that are 5 picks?
I don't know. So I think a couple of them were.
Let's see. Yes, there's one.
I think just one of them.
Actually, only one of them.
Okay,
Baltimore Houston was the only one on there.
Yes.
that's why I
Yeah.
asked just to know if I.
Yes. All right. Are you guys ready for the princess?
Oh, we need to do the other 2
We-
picks.
do
Let's
we
do
wanna-
the other
Oh
2
yeah, we got to
picks.
do our picks. Shit.
Yeah, let's get our picks out of the way. That's what I was saying. Let's get that, then we
Yes,
can just
yes,
get her
yes,
and move
yes.
All right. Sweet.
Yeah, let's do that. Yep.
on.
All right. You guys want to start with Baltimore Houston? Since we've already touched on it briefly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sure.
Baltimore.
Yeah. I
Baltimore.
cannot imagine a scenario where Houston wins that game.
Yeah.
It's just out of the realm of possibility.
Yep.
Roll on Baltimore.
Kansas City Bolts.
Kansas City.
KC.
I'd like to say
Come
the
on.
Bolts just because, but I can't.
We really want
I
you to
really
say the
can't.
Bolts.
Hey,
Go ahead, Ev.
we'd be thrilled if you picked
I'm not
something like
gonna
that.
do that.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna say that. I know Kansas City's gonna win that game.
All right. How about the Bengals and the Browns?
Now this is an awful matchup.
I'm going with the Bengals.
I am too. I think
Yeah.
Joe Burrow gets his first win. I think the
I do
Browns
too.
are that bad again. I
Yeah,
mean, they
they're
were
that-
facing
they're right.
Baltimore.
Contrary to what Evan was talking about in the offseason, the
I
Browns,
know.
they're
They
the
just
newcomers.
they got smacked. They got absolutely
smacked. They
smacked.
suck, dude. I said it all offseason. I'll continue to say it. They suck. Austin Hooper, biggest waste of time for that team. They paid him a ton of money. You guys loved it. I said it was shit. It is shit. Bless me.
Maybe I think they put up a fight. I think it's a close game, but I think Joe Burrow is the better quarterback.
It is in Cincy.
Yeah.
No, it's in Cleveland, isn't it?
Oh, I think it's in Cincy.
I think it's in. I thought it was in Cleveland. But
No, it's in Cleveland.
Jesus. Oh.
I got to go with Cincinnati. Yeah.
So
Yeah, me too.
I'm just gonna change it. I'm gonna make it.
Go Cleveland.
I'm gonna go Cleveland.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody's got to pick something different once in
I
a while.
like it.
That's true.
I like it.
That's true.
Only because it's in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
You believe in Baker?
no. I've told you all season I don't believe in Baker, and I think it was well justified in Week 1. But I think both teams they both lost. Right? Neither team is amazing yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just giving it to even though they don't really have a home crowd, they still don't travel even though it's not that far because they're both in Ohio.
Right.
I'm
It's
still just
literally
going
an
to
hour
give
and
it
a
to the
half.
home team. That's as simple as that.
Fair enough.
All right. How about the Saints Raiders?
I'm gonna go with the Saints, but I actually really think this is gonna be a close game. The Raiders put up a lot of points last week. If we were picking with the spread, the Raiders are getting 5.5 points. I would pick the Raiders in that situation.
Obviously, I'm gonna go with the Saints too. I mean, they're high powered, but I think it's gonna be a lot closer than John does.
Saints.
Yeah.
For the same reason I picked them last week that you guys forgot. You said it was going to be close. It was.
And what I like to call the game of the week,
Yeah,
Seattle, New England.
it's a good game. It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game.
Ev, why don't you tell us what you think first? Because we're really curious to what you pick.
I am gonna pick the Patriots. And
No
here's-
shock.
And you know why? It is in Seattle,
Yeah.
I believe. But I actually do. I think we're going to see. Last week with Cam Newton, I think they didn't really show us a lot in the passing game. It was run heavy, but I think they're going to be forced against a team like Seattle to do more. Like I think they're going to have to throw the ball, and I'm excited to see Cam Newton throw the ball along with Rum. So I think they break out.
I'm going to go with Seattle because they have to fly across the country, and that's hard enough in itself.
That's fair.
That just takes it out of people, and I think that's enough. But I think Seattle's just a better team.
Seattle flew all the way to Atlanta and kicked the shit out of them. So I don't see them having any.
Bad. I told you guys that in the offseason too, but
Do you know which quarterback had the most?
So
You know which quarterback had the most yards in Week 1?
Oh, I would assume
By and far away.
He didn't
Matt-
score you as many points as you thought.
Yeah,
he did.
he outperformed his projections.
Really, he scored in the 20s.
He
I mean, it wasn't like-
he almost threw 100 yards more than the next closest guy.
Wow.
450 pass yards. Aaron Rodgers had 364.
Yeah.
And he was number 2.
Yeah.
So
he also got
Touchdowns,
those yards
one pick.
at the end of a game where they were getting killed.
right.
Fair
No,
enough.
I got you, but I'm just saying
So,
their team isn't as bad as you think they are.
yeah,
I think Seattle's as good as we think they are. That's the problem. Atlanta was a pretty good. They scored some points. They just played a really tough team. My point was Seattle could go all the way almost across the country, really close, down to Atlanta. I think airtime is probably longer because you don't have the curve of the earth. And they kicked Atlanta's ass. So sitting at home and getting Miami, who didn't struggle against New England, who didn't struggle against Miami, but didn't destroy them in any way. I think they're in trouble. So, of course, I'm going Seattle. So,
All
but
right.
like
Fair
last week, we have 2 games that we have differences of opinion. So there's a chance that we don't all agree. Unfortunately, this last week, we all went 4 out of 5, even though we split some. I got you guys on the Tampa Saints game. You guys got me on the Arizona San Fran game.
Yeah.
Even though I said during that.
We definitely all picked.
No, I
No,
picked.
No,
he
I'm
picked
talking
San
for a
Fran.
different game. We picked the Minnesota Green Bay game, didn't we? We
We
all
all
got
picked
that
the
wrong.
Vikings.
Oh shit, we all went 3
I was
and 2.
gonna say we all
Thank
went
you.
3 and 5.
3 and
3 and
5.
2. 3 and 2. 3 out of 5.
Thank
3
you.
out of 5.
My bad,
Yes.
guys. Yeah. Thank you for catching that.
I'll own that
But-
loss.
Right. We all ended up with an equal record. I unfortunately picked Arizona, though I do want to add I wanted them to win. I just first game of the season had to go with the favorite.
Hey, that's
and-
understandable.
And everybody was wrong.
All All right. Is there anything else that we want to
There's
talk about?
there's so much to talk about that it's ridiculous. One thing I wanted to just make a point of,
Yes.
just because it's funny. Who would have thought that David Johnson would be ranked 10th
I know.
in fantasy football running backs this week, and Todd Gurley, while he didn't do terrible, was 20th.
Yeah.
Who didn't do terrible?
Todd Gurley scored 10 points. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great.
Wasn't horrible.
But he was he was a 20th in let's say ESPN was an example. He was a 20th best running back. So still, one of your running backs.
That value, John?
For the money they paid versus what they paid for David Johnson to get 10th,
Yeah.
yes, they did.
Okay.
Though David Johnson did really well. He did basically as well as Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So he was shockingly good against the Chiefs defense.
Hey, we said he
Yeah.
might be a sleeper though. Like he might be someone to look out for.
I don't think so, because I think they don't have a passing game. I think they showed their ugly face. I mean, yes, Deshaun got some yards, but again, it was mop-up time. It was garbage time. The Chiefs were playing way off. And the Chiefs, John, let's be honest, they don't have the best defense in the league.
No, they
So
don't.
not only did they give them garbage time, they're still not the best defense, and they still shut them down until they let them throw. So I just think they go up against some good defenses. They stack the box. I think David is.
I mean, they're facing Baltimore
Yeah,
this week.
he had a
so
good
we'll
game.
see.
Yeah.
The question is, can he continue to have good games? I think that's the question.
Right. Not by much, but Deshaun Watson outperformed Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
in our league.
And it's funny you should mention that, because Patrick Mahomes did not play well. I didn't think he played well at all.
He missed a few passes, but we ran the ball a lot.
We ran the ball a ton, yeah. And so that's another thing that you don't know in the draft. Last year, he threw it all over the place. Now with this new running back, are they going to run all the time? Because his value drops through the freaking floor. There's no way to know that, because you don't know what – you just assume they're going to run the same kind of offense.
I think they ran, if I were to just give my opinion of that game, Chiefs versus Houston, I think they ran to see what they could do, and it worked so well. The Chiefs, it worked so well in controlling the game, the clock. They had time of possession. There was no negative doing it, and they still passed when they needed to, and it was effective. I think they were trying to run to enable the pass, and they figured out they really didn't even need to. We can just do both, and it works fine. And so they didn't have to use Mahomes to throw the ball as much. And I think that's an okay thing, though we love watching Mahomes throw the ball. So I was kind of shocked by that, but I went, it is what it is. But back to the point is, you can say, in the game, Deshaun lost, clearly. Houston lost. But from a fantasy perspective, it's interesting to see that he actually outperformed, Mahomes, and so did Cam Newton.
Well, so
did Mitch Trubisky. He outperformed a lot of people, and he won the game. And you know what? In our league, he's still a free agent. Nobody even picked his ass up. That should tell you something.
I wouldn't.
Right? Nobody believed in him either. But it's really interesting just to note some of those things at times.
Hey, real quick, did you guys see Michael Thomas is out for several weeks?
Is he? I did not see that.
High ankle sprain. He's done. There was a flash across ESPN. He's out for several weeks.
I can believe it. Oh yeah, they went down on him. They said he was lucky to not be hurt worse, and obviously he was pretty good.
Yeah, he's still pretty screwed up, and that's a killer, because he's a top 4 draft pick.
He was a top.
We
said he's a top receiver to pick. We said, because he was the top.
You know what? I'm gonna change my pick. I'm going Raiders. There it is. No Michael Thomas, no wins.
Nah, okay. So what are you saying about Tampa? Because Michael Thomas went down quick without a lot of points, and
I'm just saying.
Tampa still got their ass beat.
You know
Good
what?
for you. You can.
They're going to be able to prepare for their other receivers. Emmanuel.
Okay.
Dude, I'll tell you, John. I know you're down on Tampa, but I'm just telling you.
Evan,
they're still going to win the division.
Ev, am I officially changing your pick from New Orleans?
Yes, you are. Let's go Raiders.
So that's 3 games that were differing in opinion.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
All
give
for
it to
it.
you. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe. I actually will probably be thanking you, because I think Evan just got one of his losses right there.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see about that.
Hey, you did have Kamara on 2 of your teams, and I know you played him, and that boy had a lot of points.
I know.
So I think you should remember that.
Well, it's going to be high scoring.
McCaffrey stuffed, ran the ball all over and caught the ball all over.
Dude, I got to be
Las
honest
Vegas
with
too.
you.
He just is the only guy on the team.
At some point, Kamara's going to be shut down. Now, that doesn't mean they won't score elsewhere,
Or he'll get hurt.
but there's going to be some games where Kamara's not going to get the points that you expect.
Well,
It's
right.
just going to
Of
happen.
Of course.
You know, Hilaire, it's going to be the same thing in Kansas City. So you just got to prepare for that. Nobody knows in week 1. Actually, people should have known. But, you know, you come in with Tampa Bay, you don't know what's going to happen. But
Right.
Tampa Bay, John, just trust me, they'll be all right.
They will.
I know you don't want them to be, but they'll be all right.
Although I will say, for the first time in my life, I was kind of amused seeing Tom Brady not do so well.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
He had fun spiking
Because
that
you're-
first touchdown.
He
Right.
did.
He
I
sure
was-
looked good then. I was worried at the beginning of the game. I mean, they shut down the Saints offense first drive. They turned around and
Yeah.
score. I'm like, oh, shit.
Here they come.
And then it didn't matter after that, to be
Right.
honest. It was pretty much
Yeah.
it. I mean, Gronk didn't do shit. Well,
Yeah.
Tom didn't do horrible. He threw a couple really nice passes to the
He did. He didn't look
defense.
that bad. One of the interceptions wasn't even on him, so it's
Yeah, the other one was. And-
well. I said
And
one.
it
No,
went-
the one where
I said
it
one
went
of
for
them.
7 points. It
I
went
said
for
one
7
of them.
points. Yeah, right.
That's not the one I was
Yeah.
talking about.
I know. I
No,
like
the
that.
other
I
one
like
was
that
on
one.
Mike Evans
Yeah,
because he just stopped his route. It's
Right.
like, come on, man.
yep. And that'll
You
happen.
know, but yeah.
So that was
Anyway.
a shocker. And you know, some of the teams, Washington winning their first game.
They're
Yeah.
Hey, they're the division leaders right now. The
Yeah.
Washington
Oh, I was
football
going to
team.
point that out. I mean, if you really want to look at some interesting stuff, sorry, you actually hit something. So we talked about the West and how we thought a lot of teams were going to be good, and I think you guys were pretty accurate. But who'd have thought the 49ers would be the only team without a win?
Right.
The Saints are the only team with a win.
In the
You're
South.
right. In the NFC East, Washington's the only team with a win, and that
Yeah.
and that they were that
We were all wrong about the East, but John, you
Right.
and I, we
Chicago
called
and
out
Green
San
Bay.
Francisco
Oh, I
regressing.
know.
We were like, no.
Another one I want to tease on is, boy, Ev, what do you think of? God damn it, this is me getting old again.
Green Bay.
No, hold on. I'm
What team?
gonna pick up his name. No.
Oh, guy.
God damn it. God
Is he a
damn
running
it.
back or a quarterback?
Just give me a
What
second.
team?
No, because I want to. I'm looking it up because I want to know. Philip Rivers.
Ah.
Philip and the Colts look so good getting their ass handed to them by
Yeah,
Minshew
Yeah.
and the Jacksonville
that's my
Jaguars,
boy,
who
Gardner
sold
Minshew.
half
Yeah,
their
Let's
team,
go.
who gave
Let's
away half
go.
their team and beat Joe's pick for the division in the Indianapolis Colts, who
Let's
got handed
go.
to him by the Jags.
Gardner
Tennessee
Minshew.
won. Joe, Tennessee won, just to let you know. But
Yes, I saw that.
he didn't. Just,
Gardner Minshew had one incompletion the whole game.
Gardner looked. That whole team was shockingly good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, they
to
weren't
see
good.
to see what they can.
Against the Colts, they were, and the Colts were
Yeah, but-
shockingly bad against Jacksonville, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, you'll. Do you think Jacksonville's going to win the division?
No,
Okay.
no, but I'm not sure Indy's
I
going to
think-
either now.
I think. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's one game, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I
Against
also
the
picked
Jags.
Pittsburgh to win their division. So we'll see.
No, I know.
Pittsburgh didn't look bad. I think they're going to compete with Baltimore.
I just none of us thought Jacksonville was going to be anywhere. We said
no,
they're-
I
they
thought
might
they were
have
going
been
to give up
against-
to get Trevor Lawrence.
right. We were thinking maybe they were going to outperform Houston for the year, but we didn't think they were
And
going to be.
I figured they'd outperform the Jets, maybe Houston. They're, you know,
Well,
a
in
couple
their
teams,
division.
but-
no, in their
Oh,
division.
in their division.
Remember,
Okay.
we were
Yeah.
like Tennessee, and yeah, the Colts sound pretty good. Houston, not so much,
Yeah.
and
Right.
Jacksonville.
I still think
Jacksonville might be better than
It's going to be
Houston.
tennis at the end of the year. I think the Colts will maybe have 8 or 9 wins at most, but I think it'll probably be Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't know. It really depends. Philip Rivers looked uneasy, but you know what?
Yeah.
He's known for giving away games at the end.
Yeah,
And he did it again.
Well,
so
yeah,
And he's
kinda
only
know
getting
what you're
older.
getting, I guess, with that.
yeah. He definitely threw some squirrely passes. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right, guys.
Listen, I'm going to get the hell out of here
Yeah.
because this bag is hotter than fuck.
Ev,
I'm
you sure we
sure.
don't have anything to talk about? I mean, we could run another hour, don't you think? We got enough
Well,
time.
you two can run another hour for as long as you want.
No, only
You
if
can
you're
run
stay
all
with us.
night for all I care.
Only if you stay with us, just to see you
Right.
sweat, see that bag
Yeah.
starting to melt off your face.
Oh,
Right?
look. Tell me.
All right, guys. Hey, this is a good show. kudos to
All
you,
right.
Joe, for wearing the bag.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Props.
You got
props.
my little bit of respect for
Sometimes,
that.
sometimes you just got to sit in shame.
And you did it.
As
well.
long as I don't ever have to drink another fucking beer, we are good.
You're drinking another one if you go 0-3 again.
That's
Oh,
right.
fuck. That's
this,
brutal.
this is gonna be.
If I go 0-3 again, I'm just going to quit fantasy football. It's like, nah.
So
Maybe I'll let Hadley play.
do you guys think we could FedEx that bag around to every one of us, whoever gets the most, like the 0-3
Yeah.
that week?
I was going to say,
Get
if
there fast
somebody,
enough,
right, you
they're
should
gonna
have
get
to
there
wear the
fast enough and
bag.
make you wear the same bag every
We
week.
all
So
need one.
that bag.
That
So-
specific one.
So,
It's gotta
so
be
as
this
the
bag.
season goes on, it gets more rank, and it just starts to be like it's really
Oh, that's
punishment. Like,
disgusting.
you got this other dude's, nasty bo aging in that bag. Like we could keep,
Oh, yeah.
we could keep in a plastic Ziploc so it doesn't dry out.
The only reason I'm not dying right now is because there's holes in the front.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
you need to get a wig on it, Joe. Put your
Yeah,
hat on top.
Yeah. I thought about it, but I was running low
You
on
should put
time.
a top hat on it.
All right, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Fun. Until next
All right.
time.
All right,
All right.
boys. Until next time.
Until next
Later.
time. See ya.
Peace.
Later.